Boop.
I'll be able to edit out a lot of the background noise.
Okay, we're recording.
You recording?
Cool.
Okay, I'm going to start with an impromptu theme song. We don't have a real theme song yet. Hi, and welcome to Toon Goons,
Yep.
the podcast in which we take an adult critical perspective on cartoons and the way that they affect the pop cultural landscape. I'm one of your hosts, Nicky.
I'm your other host, Nina.
And I'm the third host, Tooch. I thought we were the Toon Goons.
We probably are.
Okay,
We're
cool.
definitely the Toon Goons.
There is a possibility that might be our name.
That's the Tumblr I secured before we started, is thetoongoons@tumblr.com.
Oh, well then, that just
Rate,
sells
like, and
it.
subscribe. So,
It's Tumblr official.
all right, yeah. So this is our inaugural episode, and we decided that we would like to talk about what is probably the most important new cartoon of this season,
So important.
and that is Steven Universe.
It's Steven!
Steven! All right. Nina, you want to give us some history on the show with the show notes that you prepared?
Sure, Nikki. With pleasure. Okay. So
She's
Steven,
Don't condescend me.
She's the one who writes down things.
Steven Universe was created by Rebecca Sugar of Adventure Time fame. Oddly, when she was only 26 years old, the show first premiered on November 4th of 2013. It was Cartoon Network's greatest premiere of that year. Before then the pilot and some sneak peeks were showcased at San Diego Comic-Con and New York Comic-Con. Rebecca Sugar worked as a writer and storyboard artist for Adventure Time for really popular and famous episodes like I Remember You, Simon and Marcy, It Came from the Nightosphere, Fiona and Cake, Lady and Peebles, and like 21 episodes in total. She was nominated for an Annie Award, and she wrote some songs. She likes to play the ukulele because it's easy to play. She wrote the famous Daddy, Why'd You Eat My Fries and Bacon Pancakes and a bunch of other ones.
Yeah.
So she's the first woman on Cartoon Network's almost 20-year history to get, to create her own cartoon and to front run a cartoon, which seems like wouldn't be the case, but it is.
It's one of those things that, like, it's cool that, this ground is being broken, but it sucks that we've had to wait this long to break this ground.
Yeah, although
Yeah.
it's just Cartoon Network. I think other women have had their... Oh, yeah, Amy
Faust.
Amy Poehler had the Mighty Bee on Nickelodeon, which is very underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And then, of course, Lauren Faust and MLP.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I just forgot because that was around the same time as Adventure Time, and I just equate Rebecca Sugar with Adventure Time. Like, women have worked in cartoons forever, but, like, heading them, it doesn't happen often enough.
No, I mean, women have been working in cartoons, but they've always been, like, in between animator stuff that usually doesn't get credited, so, like, it's not a equal field.
Yeah.
But then again, like, most cartoonists in general don't get credit. Like nobody in cartoons get credit because their target demographic is mostly children who don't really comprehend that human beings make their cartoons. Most adults don't even get that. It's like, you tell, like, what do you do? I'm a cartoonist. Like the newspaper? No one's called them cartoons since the 20s. Shut up. I don't know why people still do
Funny
that.
pages, gosh.
And also, the cartoons, the credits are too fast. You can't read any of those names.
And half the time they skip them anyway to show you what new cartoons coming on.
They have Britannic do, like, coming up next on Adventure Time, a commercial for some app.
Yeah. So,
You know that the voices of Adventure Time are Britannic, that sketch comedy duo?
not Adventure Time, but
Cartoon Network.
Network.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like the guys who did that every Oscar movie trailer video.
Oh, yeah, I know Britannic, because, like, Cracked hollered about him one time. They did, like, a bunch of different sketch comedy groups, one of which Donald Glover was in before he blew up.
Yeah, Derek Comedy. Yeah, so, I mean, it's interesting because, like, those guys are really funny, but none of the Cartoon Network stuff is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cartoon Network
So
commercials haven't been
Rebecca-
funny in a while.
Yeah. Rebecca was working on both shows, Adventure Time and her own show, sort of at the same time until Fiona and Cake, where she was like, I can't do this anymore. It's too much work.
I thought the last one that she storyboarded was Simon and Marcy.
Well, I think it was, they do the things out of order. Like, I don't really know, but that's what I read, that like Fiona and Cake was sort of when she realized that she's going to need to like stop doing
Maybe
stuff
she
for Adventure Time.
started working less frequently.
Yeah, I think so. And so she based the show around her brother, Steven, Sugar, and not Universe. He's like, he's described as like the ultimate little brother. And she sort of based the setting in the beaches that she grew up in, or like went on vacations with, like in like Delaware beaches, that's where you're from, not the beach, but Delaware. Have you been to Rehoboth Beach, Bethany Beach, or Dewey Beach?
Oh yeah, I've been to Rehoboth a few times. It's alright. I met Dave Grohl there once.
That's pretty
That's what? That's pretty cool.
I mean, I didn't know who he was at the time. All my friends did though. So
Yeah.
I got the camera and took their picture with him because I was like, I don't know who this jabroni is. He was a nice guy. He was we had to wait because like I don't know because it was like in a carnival area, like an indoor kind of. Well, it was like an over. My point is there was like a little carnival area, and we just saw a bunch of people crowding around some dude, and we were like, what the hell's going on over there? And everyone was like, is that Dave Grohl? And it's like, oh my god, it's Dave Grohl. And I was just like, and he was like, he's the Foo Fighters. And I was like, oh, that's a band that I've heard that name of.
They're on the Grammys like all the time.
Yeah, but
I think they still perform on
They
the Grammys.
always.
But we go up there, but like by the time we get up to where he is, he's already riding the teacups, I presume with his family. I hope so. But yeah, so he waved for him to get off the teacups, and we got his picture. That's cool.
Well, that's accurate because Beach City also has a little boardwalk place with stuff. So
Maybe one day Steven Universe will meet Dave Grohl. That'd be so weird if he guest starred.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because what's interesting, just talk about the show the show, is that, don't give me that face, you've been doing a good job.
I'm sorry. There was this fun quote that she said about her brother.
Give me the quote, yeah.
Okay. We were best friends, siblings, and people would tell us, oh, that's unusual, she said. I tried to make the character like him. When you're so comfortable in your life because you get all the attention, but you also want to rise up and not be the little brother. Which is essentially how Steven is in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I forget. Well, yeah, I was gonna say about like the voice cast is that Tooch and I are both very tuned in to the
Gooned in.
We're gooned in.
to voice acting and that community and that scene and that industry, and very few prominent voice actors are in this show. It's a lot of unknowns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Garnet is voiced by Estelle, the English R&B artist. So she's a known entity, but she's not a voice actress.
Amethyst's only other prominent role is playing one of the lesser-known dinosaurs on Barney the Dinosaur and Friends.
Wow. I know, like, during an interview, she and Ian Jones-Cordy were like, they wanted to make sure they got people who could sing, like, really well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Because they do the opening.
Yeah. And other things. Do we know anything about Dee Dee Magno?
Is she Pearl?
She's Pearl.
I don't know.
I think she's Asian. That's all I know.
Filipino. She's Filipino-American.
Oh. Whoops. I was close.
And she was in a pop group called The Party.
Yeah, she seems to have more of a, looking at this Wikipedia page that we should have read before, she seems to have more of a history in theater.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then the kid what voices Steven, like, he was in that frickin' Peabody and Sherman movie. He was King Tut.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did anybody see that?
No.
I don't.
It looked like it was watchable, but not especially good.
He
Probably
played
why.
Billy Batson in the direct-to-video movies for Superman Shazam.
Oh.
Is he's actually done some stuff.
And he's in Sophia the First.
I've seen merchandise for that at the store where I work.
Yeah.
Is that Zach Callison's the kid's name?
Yeah. So, everybody, what is Steven Universe actually about?
It's about a chubby kid with 3 moms. They fight crime.
Who lives with he lives with 3 Sailor Senshi,
Yeah.
who are also a little bit the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, a lot of...
Grown up Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, it's part of what I've noticed as, you know, the current trend of cartoons, and this is something we're probably going to talk about a lot, of, you know, the first half of the 2010s, and I guess a little bit of the late aughties. It's cartoons that are, in theme and everything, very positive and very sincere, coming off of the previous decade or so of cartoons, where they were a little bit, I don't want to say mean-spirited, but the character...
They were kind of mean-spirited.
Like, stuff like Billy and Mandy, I think, is the best example.
Well, even Powerpuff Girls, I remember watching that as a kid, and some episodes were very mean-spirited.
Yeah. Or, say, Foster's Home, where my dad said it was like Seinfeld for kids, because the characters are so unbelievably selfish. And mostly that was Blue.
That was really
Yeah.
just Blue.
Blue is a cartoon George Costanza.
And Mr. Harriman.
And Harriman, yeah.
I thought you guys were gonna go more of the stuff like, you know, like Ren and Stimpy,
Well, that's much older. I'm talking about just the previous decade.
like Invader Zim. Invader Zim is damn near nihilistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's why even as a kid I picked up on that and just went, this show just makes me not feel good. Why do
Yeah,
we
I
like this?
I've never been crazy about it. I've liked parts of Invader Zim, but I've never been able to fully get into it,
Yeah.
even as an adult.
Yeah.
But, you know, shows now,
Butch
and I feel like
Butch
Adventure...
Hartman. Oh, sorry. I was
He's,
just gonna say Butch Hartman
Parents.
also does that. Just in
Yeah, Odd
general.
Parents. But he's a Fairly Odd Parents guy, right?
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, he's Fairly Odd Parents, Danny
I'm just-
Phantom, and Tough Puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That dumb puppy show.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Whereas now, starting with Adventure Time, I think most prominently, there may have been other stuff before, like maybe Flapjack, which I never saw, but a lot of people who work on Adventure Time worked on Flapjack. Mm-hmm. Would Flapjack sort of fit in the same category of like these super sincere, well-meaning shows?
I think so. Well, Flapjack
like
himself
Chowder?
does.
Yeah.
Flapjack
Yeah.
and Chowder themselves do, but all of their supporting cast is still very much like what the fuck are you so happy about, kid?
A bunch of Squidwards.
Squidwards.
Yeah, they're a bunch of Squidwards.
So, like, I think Adventure Time is, you know, what you can look at first to sort of, you know, look at the show of just a bunch of characters who are in these very sincere, you know, environments and stories where there's no interest in being mean to them by the creators.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the comedy doesn't come at their expense.
absolutely. Butch Hartman did that all the
Or
time. With
I would
Danny,
even
with Danny Phantom and Timmy Turner, they always got the short end of the stick, and it was always the butt of the joke. Like, it's funny because
Yeah.
childhood kind of sucks.
Yeah, I would actually even say a little bit. This is, you know, kind of a different animal, but Bob's Burgers. You know, you compare Tina to, say, Meg Griffin, where, you know, the joke with Tina is not that, oh, look at this stupid girl and her stupid hormones. The joke with Tina is, remember when you were this person?
Yeah, and like it's not talking down about them. It's just sort of showing them
Yeah.
Right.
for
And I
what
think
they
out-
are. It's finding.
Out of every,
I'm sorry.
No,
I
you
was going to say
finish.
the
No, you
point of the
finish, I'm
show is
sorry.
finding hope in those shitty situations. You know, that's Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
Like coming out of it okay.
And that's all well and good, but we're talking about Steven
well,
Universe.
the point I'm getting to with Steven Universe is I feel that Steven Universe embodies this concept more immediately than anything else.
Definitely.
You know, Steven is this well-meaning, kind of dorky kid who has problems, but is ultimately you can't get him down because he just wants to have a good time and be a good person
He's
and
so
bring.
pleasant.
He wants to bring joy into the world.
He is joy. Like, as soon as the first episode was airing and I was watching it with my roommates, and I was just in love with this kid right away. He's so happy and so positive and cheerful and sweet and well-meaning. And there's not a mean bone in his body. Like, he's just such a wonderful little person that it's hard not to really love him.
Yeah.
And his little muffin top.
His design is great.
Oh, his little muffin top is so cute.
It's a very cute show.
Very cute.
Like, that's one of the things that endeared me to it. Because, like, some people said that, like, the first couple episodes honestly weren't that strong, but what kept me watching was just the style and the tone and the atmosphere of it.
Yeah, like, Cookie Cat wasn't that great, but it was a pretty good intro. But I thought Laser Light Cannon was really good. Like, it was very nuanced, and it kept going back and forth between kind of serious stuff, but also just fun, happy things. Mm-hmm. You know, with introducing his father and, like, his mom.
Yeah, and one thing that I've noticed is that it almost, like, every second or third episode goes to something that's actually, like, really heavy and profound in between, you know, fun and lighthearted episodes.
Yeah, like that episode where they thought that he was dying, and they were all...
Too many birthdays?
Too many birthdays.
Too Many Birthdays was heavy.
God.
Cat Fingers was, like...
Surprisingly heavy.
Cat Fingers was baby's first body horror.
Yeah, it's basically Akira, but with cats. Like, he, like, totally starts... you know, Tetsuoing out and, like, turning into a terrible monster and, like, screaming to his father, like, help me, Dad! It's like, oh my god. What is happening?
Yeah. There's one thing, and a thing that's interesting is, you know, we're probably not going to talk about Adventure Time on a whole episode, but we're going to refer to it probably 3 times per episode, at least.
Every episode, yeah.
You know, Adventure
Every
Time...
day of my life.
Yeah, Adventure Time took a little bit longer to get profound. I would say not until, like, here's the progress for, like, adult fans of Adventure Time. Season 1, oh, this is pretty cute and fun. Season 2, oh, this is actually really good. Season 3, this shit is fucking important.
Yeah.
And so starting with Season 3 is when it started getting into really profound stuff, although before they played with it a little bit. Steven's not messing around. Steven is getting heavy and letting you know what this show is going to be about from the very beginning.
Well, a lot of that comes from her experience. You know, she's worked with this kind of storytelling with other people, and, like, going into the show, she knows what she's doing. It's very obvious that that's the case.
And I think also because Adventure Time was breaking that ground, they needed to sort of be subversive and be more typical before they could bring that kind of stuff in.
Yeah, they needed to prove that they're able to handle that kind of responsibility with that kind of storytelling. They're not gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, but now that there's such a term as Adventure Time alums, it's like SNL, you know, those creatives are able, I think, to just jump right into that.
They're like thoroughbred racehorses.
Yeah. I mean, once they finally let Ian Jones-Cordy have his own show, they finally pick up the pilot for Lakewood Plaza Turbo, like, he could go into that... No, they didn't.
No, he's helping Rebecca.
No, he's like storyboard...
He's like a director, producer thing.
He's pretty high up in Steven right now.
Yeah.
To be fair, I didn't think his pilot was that strong.
It certainly was not stronger than Steven.
Yeah.
I just like they got Gohan's voice actor in there.
Yeah.
Voice actress. I was like, is that Gohan? That's motherfucking Gohan. Good.
Yeah. Oh, I found the quote by Rebecca Sugar, which basically summarizes what we said. You know, it's interesting to try and be subversive in a positive way. I think that's really my goal. Like, I want that to exist, and I want everyone to internalize it. It doesn't have to be cruel to be funny. It can just be really great to spend time with someone that you really care about, which is what Steven is really to me.
Because it's a brother.
Yeah, and, you know, that philosophy, like, we're going to talk about Clarence pretty soon on this show, and I think that Clarence is absolutely the same philosophy.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a philosophy I can really get behind, because I don't like that mean-spirited, always taking a dig at certain people. Like, they could have very easily, like with Pearl, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Pearl is that kind of character that we've seen a lot. She's like the rabbit of Winnie the Pooh. The character that always needs to be knocked down a peg.
The character that's always your favorite.
The character that's always my favorite because of that. Because
The
I always
Squidward.
related. Yeah, the Squidward.
The Blossom.
The Blossom. Like, those characters are always getting punished, but Pearl, as difficult as she can be, she's not treated like she's this problem that needs to go away and needs to be fixed. Like, she's part of the family, and she's not the only one that needs to learn the lessons, you know?
Yeah. Get a brief anecdote. I remember you were telling me about like how much you related to Pearl, and you were talking about watching Winnie the Pooh as a kid, and your reaction was always, "Why doesn't everybody listen to Rabbit?"
Yeah, I never like okay, Tigger would just come in and destroy all of Rabbit's crops, and like growing vegetables takes a long time, and nobody was ever like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Rabbit, I destroyed your entire year's work just because I didn't fucking pay attention to what was in front of me." And he was always portrayed as the bad guy for being cranky about it. Like, anybody would be fucking cranky about that shit.
The fuck am I gonna eat all year, bitch?
Yeah, like, this is my food. So, yeah, definitely.
That always like profoundly bothered you as a kid.
It did, it really did. And like
that's why I am the person I am now.
Well, that's why I love Pearl so much. And I always sort of figure, like, I always sort of interpreted the relationships in Steven a lot like the relationships in Winnie the Pooh. Like, Pearl is the rabbit, Amethyst is the Tigger, Steven is definitely the Pooh that's sort of caught in between these two extremes, and it's just trying to make sure everybody's happy and okay, and he's not the brightest character, but he's the sweetest and the most well-meaning. Garnet doesn't really fit into my family,
Garnet doesn't fit into anyone's anything. She's just Garnet.
She's her own thing.
Here's one thing I want to talk about Garnet, and like another way that this show is breaking ground with the way that it's portraying archetypal characters. Garnet fits the mold of sort of your stoic badass female character, but without any of the machismo bullshit that typically weighs down those kinds of characters.
Yeah.
There's no machismo to her.
There's no freaking like kung fu action flips. It's like, I can do anything a man can do.
Yeah.
No, she just does it.
She's portrayed as the de facto leader, but she's not infallible at the same time. Which they could have easily just made her like the permanent voice of reason that's like always right. But she's not.
She stays out of it most of the time. She's not having anyone's shit. She's just like, it's not my problem. Bye.
Yeah, but like in Tiger Millionaire, like at the end when Amethyst was sort of fighting with her, she sort of realized that like, okay, like I did hurt your feelings, and
Yes, so she's not super emotional, but she's not immune.
She's not emotionless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And more than any other one of the girls, she really believes in Steven the most.
Yeah, that is the thing. Like, yeah, she actually has. Like Pearl is doting to the point of being kind of condescending. I think unintentionally.
Definitely unintentionally. She's just very. She knows that he's a squishy human, and like she doesn't want anything to happen to him. So she's just like really helicopter mom.
Yeah, that's something I was thinking about, because like it made me realize today that like Steven is a crystal gem, but he's also human, and they know that, and they're more or less immortal. So it's one thing to be human; it's another thing to be human in the eyes of an immortal. They just must see him like this thing that can just die at the slightest thing.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean if you stab them, they die? What the fuck? Oh my god, they're so helpless.
Yeah, and like he's the last vestige of Rose Quartz, who seems to very much have been like a mother figure to them, or like their leader who taught them, and he's sort of like what's left of her, and they're like, we don't want to lose this guy.
Yep. Yeah, it's a very extreme version of the doting big sister thing, because like it's kind of like you have one little kid and then three sisters who are much older than him.
Yeah.
And here that olderness is by thousands of years.
And they all represent different sides to being a big sibling. One is like, just want to hang out, let's hang out, let's play.
Let's hang out, let's chill. I'm your cool older sister who'll
we'll eat.
I'll buy you beer when you get into high school.
I'll eat
so
your
you have
bits
friends.
with you, your fry bits. And the other one's, the doting, like, don't do anything dangerous, don't get hurt. And the other one's just sort of like...
the one who respects you but is ultimately too cool for you.
Yeah.
Although I think that's why Garnet stays out of it, because she actually trusts Steven to figure things out on his own, and she thinks that's the best way to teach him is to not.
Yeah, it's to sort of like let him learn his lessons for himself and like not, interfere too much.
Yeah, so really, really strong characters right out of the gate,
They all work very well together. That's the real
incredible
strength
dynamics.
of the show, is how they interact with each other. So that's characters. You want to talk about art, maybe?
The show is gorgeous.
The end, yeah, enough said. It's great.
It's all pinks, lots of pinks, and it's all rounded. And the designs for each of the gems, the crystal gems, are like totally different body types, and that's like such a fun thing to see.
Yeah, and you know, like Amethyst, who is the chubby one, is also the hot one, and like, it's not portrayed as a joke. It's just like, hey, this is cool. This is a good look.
Yeah. Their booty twerking dance.
I was about to say, when she's dancing, it's like she's getting it.
And like she like flips her hair and it's just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, she knows how to work with what she's got.
And she can have anything she wants because she shapeshifts.
Yeah. And have you seen the pilot, Nina?
I did. I made sure to watch it before we started.
How do you guys feel about the redesigns in between the pilot and the
I
actual
like the
show?
new ones better. The original ones were cool, but they were too complicated. Like, I really didn't like Garnet in the original. Like, I think Garnet is way stronger in the new one. And Amethyst is too. Like, there's just less things going on.
Yeah,
less is more.
Yeah, at first when I saw it, I was kind of disappointed because I thought it was a big step in the other direction. But now that I've actually seen it in action, because it's so much simpler, that frees up a lot of time and budget, which allows them to do more interesting things with the character.
Yeah, that's why I've always been a fan of minimalism. My own cartoon style is very minimalist. It's because it's not so much a lack of detail, but it's giving detail to only the most important things, so they stand out all the more, and so you can appreciate the detail more.
And a lot of it comes from their movements, like that introduction scene in the first episode where he goes inside the temple and they're fighting the centipedes. Like, there's like, you get to see each one of them fighting, and they have their own body language and their own little song going on in the background. Yeah. That helps to like add more character, where you don't have to have like all these bangles and fanny packs and star earrings everywhere.
And what I think was the best result of the redesign was giving Garnet the cubic afro.
Yeah.
She didn't have that in the pilot, and that's entirely worth it.
It's so worth it.
And also, now Pearl is ready to be... She's perfectly ready to transition into being the star of an N64 game.
Well, they reference Pearl's old design in that episode where she dies and then comes back. There's that scene where she's sort of coming back and you see the outline and it's changing. Yeah. You see a lot of her previous forms that she's taken before she decides on the form that she chooses to take afterwards, if you look really closely.
Yeah, somebody took quick screenshots of her silhouette as she's shifting, and it clearly looks like her past designs, because they had a couple. There was the pilot, and then there was another one that was just art, and they looked different, and each one was different. So
that's cool. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Easter egg.
Yeah. I like.
By the way, there's spoilers in this podcast.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'll add that maybe I'll add a stinger to the beginning, but probably not.
Yeah. Sorry, friends. It doesn't really take away from your enjoyment, though.
No.
It really doesn't.
We'll just make that the title, like Toon Goons Episode 1, here there are be spoilers.
We forgot to do a spoiler warning.
Yeah, we forgot to spoiler warning. Warning, we forgot a spoiler warning.
Music. Let's talk about that.
So awesome.
Yeah, really good. Has a lot of this... Again, like so many elements of the show, if you like what's going on in Adventure Time, you'll like this. It's got a lot of the kind of, YouTube ukulele kind of stuff, which, I don't like the ukulele, but there's a sincerity behind it that makes me tolerate it.
I mean, that opening song, I sing to it every single time. Yeah. It's so sweet, and it's so well put together. Like, I love the scene where they're running, and Steven's behind, and then he, really tries to run really hard to get in front, and then he jumps and is like, yay, I did it!
Yeah. And there's also, kind of a chiptune inspired stuff going on in the background.
Yeah, definitely. The main composer is Avi and Surashu. And they do stuff with chiptunes and all kinds of things. So, and it just gives a good atmosphere to this show. The nice image of the beach and like all these like happy tunes and these round, colorful, pinky characters. It's just really nice.
And people of color, which is
and
also
people,
nice.
Yeah, like you have the pizza family. They're great.
So good.
That's always the sign of a good series, is when the background characters, like, you look at them and you know nothing about them, but you look at them and go, I want to know more about that character, even though they've only appeared in the background once.
Or,
Tumblr
like,
especially eats that shit up.
Yeah, like it's like Connie in the opening. Like we didn't know until like 5-6 episodes in that she was going to be an actual recurring character.
I didn't think she was going to be. I just thought they were really good at designing background characters.
Yeah, here's a really well designed background character
Who's also just a really cool character.
Yeah,
And is super awesome.
Yeah. And like they're still fleshing out people because of the pizza family, and like because you'll see characters in the background before they're technically introduced, quote unquote. So it's like it feels more real because you see them and they're like, oh hey, it's that person. I remember seeing them in the background in like the fucking arcade or whatever, or in the opening.
Yeah, it gives the show a sense of community because it doesn't look like it's a very big town.
It looks very small.
Yeah.
I don't know where any of the houses are. We really only see like the businesses.
Yeah, because like the houses are always like.
And maybe them living in the back of the businesses. Like.
Yeah.
Houses are always detached from the actual boardwalk.
But really, we've only got like the pizza family, the Fry family, the cool kids. Lars
and is it Mindy?
Yeah, I think it's Mindy.
And that one guy who looks like
Millie.
Jack Frost.
Yeah, that's one of the cool kids.
Yeah, he's Onion's brother, right?
Is he?
Because his name is also a food that is relatable to an onion.
What is his name?
I forget his name. I will look it up.
Okay, but like Onion is... Like, they did an episode about Onion, I was like, yeah, we finally get to figure out what the hell's up with this kid. And it's like, no.
Nope.
I still don't know what's up with this kid who just doesn't talk.
Also, we haven't talked about Steven's dad. Like in a crueler show, they would have made a much bigger deal about Steven's dad being a complete loser. But the show just has no interest in being mean to this guy who's kind of having a hard time.
But he's nice.
Okay, I've got his name. He might not be related to Onion. I just thought, God, his name is his name is Sour Cream. Sour Cream and Onion.
Sour Cream and Onion. Yeah, maybe he is.
He's voiced by Brian Posen.
Who's that guy again? I recognize the name.
He's a guy who talks like this, and he's a stand-up comedian. You'd know him if you saw him.
I'll look him up.
Yeah. We've had 19 episodes so far. There's supposed to be 26 this season, which is supposed to end in July, but we've had a little bit of a hiatus between 19 and 20.
Yeah.
And we have no idea when 20 is gonna show up, which is upsetting because I really want to see Garnet and Amethyst fused together.
Oh yeah, that episode is supposed to come out. I want to see that so bad.
I know. Like, once they introduced the fusing, I was just like, this got to a different level.
Yeah, because they're gonna, that, like, season 2, they're all gonna fuse into one, Diamanda or something.
Yeah. That's, the whole mythology thing, that's one complaint I've heard from, like, some of my animator friends, is that, like, they're not really telling us too much. Like, they're spending so many episodes just sort of, like...
Good.
Having fun. And honestly, I don't care.
Good. Yeah.
And I think that is another thing of them keeping in mind who their audience is.
Yeah, like, we don't need to know everything all at once.
Yeah, this ain't your frickin' D&D's Monster Manual flavor text horse shit. Go roleplay and shove a 20-sided dice up your butt.
Yeah, like, if Adventure Time was written for me, they would have explored a lot more of this Mushroom World stuff a lot sooner. But it's not. It's written for kids. And so, and that's what I like about this country. Is, they acknowledge that they have adult fans, and they appeal to the adult fans by throwing in references to, say, Adventure Time's reference to Akira, or referencing Utena in Steven Universe.
2 episodes in a row.
Yeah. Like...
Steven the Sword Fighter, and then Lion 2 the movie. It was awesome.
Wait, I actually have yet to see magical whatever Utena. What
Revolutionary Girl Utena.
Revolutionary Girl Utena. What were the references?
In Steven the Sword Fighter, when Pearl is fighting the Pearl Bot, like the exact choreography she does is the exact choreography they use in Utena, like in every episode.
Yeah, because low budget, they had to recycle all the fighting stuff. But like that backflip dodge and the parallel running.
That's like thrust. It's like in every episode. And then in Lion 2, the movie, when Steven pulls the sword out of the lion's head, it's like when Utena would pull the sword out of Anthe's chest.
Amazing.
So it's really awesome. And Rebecca said, like, she wanted to reference a lot of shoujo and shonen anime, and she wanted to, like, mix them together. Because, she really likes Future Boy, Conan, and other stuff like that. So there's going to be a lot more anime in the future. Like, it's already kind of Sailor Moon-y as it is.
Just like Puppy Cat.
Puppy Cat.
Yeah, which we'll definitely talk about once that drops.
Yes. Yeah. Back to what we were saying.
Yeah, what were we saying? The show is paced for a kid audience, and the kids aren't. I don't think kids are as interested in all this world building and flavor text. They want to see Steven have an adventure.
Yeah, I think it's like it's not that they're not interested. It's just that's not what they're immediately after. That's low on their priority list.
It's a secondary interest, and thus it should be a secondary interest of the creators. Even if it makes a viewer like me just salivating to find out more about this kind of thing. I'm
sure Rebecca knows more than she's showing us about her own world.
I would hope so.
Oh, yeah,
you have to.
She said so. She said a lot happened before Steven existed, and he doesn't know much about it. That's what the show is really about. Every facet of it, fully learning why he exists, has really been fun to think about. All the characters have very particular relationships to what he is. So,
it's implied that there used to be a lot more gems, right?
Yeah. Oh, and absolutely.
And, the temple's, destroyed and in ruins, so that might also explain why they're so attached to him, because he's one of the very few that are left, and they're, the only ones that there are. But we don't even know where they come from. Garnet, spoilers, has a third eye on her forehead, and it's at first I thought they were different colors because of their gem, but they might be aliens? We don't even know.
Yeah. And speaking of gems, though, this is literally my only criticism of the show. A pearl is not really a gem, and is definitely not a crystal. There ends my criticism of the show. That ends my criticism of the show.
But it's so pretty and shiny.
Pretty clam vomit.
Pretty. I don't know.
How much time are we at? Because...
like 38 minutes exactly.
Huh. Now we can go for a little bit longer.
See if we covered everything.
In the meantime, you guys want to talk about your respective favorite episodes?
Oh boy.
Geez.
Oh boy.
Do you have to think about it?
Oh man.
Yeah.
For me, it would either be, what was the beach party one? Was it just called Beach Party?
It was just called Beach Party.
Beach Party, or because it was just really funny. Just a lot of really good character dynamics interacting off of each other, to the effect of just great jokes. Mm-hmm. And the other one for me would be, is it Millionaire Tiger or Tiger Millionaire?
Tiger
Millionaire.
I love
it's
Tiger
just,
Millionaire.
I feel like
Tiger Millionaire might be my favorite.
Yeah.
It's Steven's imagination at its best, where he, it's him taking. It's also, I was never into wrestling as a kid, but
me neither.
I guess that's, for kids, that's what it was, is the stories of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the joke has always been that, wrestling is soap operas for dumb fuck men.
Yeah.
And the specificity, and again, the sincerity of the story of his character, of Tiger Millionaire.
Yeah. Lars is just pure gold in that episode.
I love Lars so much.
Lars is really emotionally invested in Tiger Millionaire.
He is the wrestling fan who just loves the shit out of him. And plus, I like that Amethyst and Steven became heels too. I love how that's because they know that's the most fun, being a heel.
Yeah, and and even as a heel, he's trying to make him a sympathetic heel, but ultimately a guy who's kind of an SOB.
Yeah.
That's the that was the greatest. That was the greatest thing though, because also it's like no matter how much of a shithead you are, like you can't shit on your fans, and like Steven fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a funny joke though. You can afford it.
Yeah.
Yes, so beautiful.
So would you say that's your favorite one, Tooch?
Probably. That's gonna be the closest one. I've never been good at picking favorite episodes unless a show is hit and miss.
That's
and if it's a hit and miss, I'm not gonna give enough of a shit about it to pick a favorite episode.
Or if the show has like 1 million episodes,
That too.
which we only have
I
19.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that because the show's so new, it's easier to pick a favorite one.
Yeah. I think my favorite is Bubble Buddies.
Hey.
I just like, it was so cute. Like, I love the opening when Steven is trying to impress her, like riding his bike in the sand, and he just like falls over, and he like tries to go over to talk to her, and then he like just goes like, eh, he runs away.
That hit me. I think that like brought up some kind of repressed memory that I still don't entirely remember, because I saw that and I was like, oh god.
Yeah, like, you know
my
exactly how
che-
that feels.
My chest hurts.
Like, it's so sweet, and like...
Yeah, that was very real and very visceral. I love that.
That whole episode was very real, like... And the relationship with Connie, and like how he's just like so positive, and she's just like, okay, like
so
random
positive
person.
in the face of being completely boned.
And the action was really good, like once that bug snake thing started attacking them, and they were like on the surface, and it was like totally destroying like the boardwalk. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. The monster design in the show is really good.
Yeah. I like Cheeseburger Backpack a lot, like remembering it now, because like the thing that threw me off about it was because like it might have even purposefully like threw off this expectation, like because like Steven wants to help out on the super important mission, and he's like, oh, I'll help with my cheeseburger backpack, and it's like, oh, he's gonna try and help and fuck everything up, but it's like, that backpack was fucking useful.
Yeah, I love it came back in Lion 2, the movie.
Yeah.
It's such a cute backpack, and he was so adorable. Like, he was really actually helping until he didn't.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of like callbacks, did you guys notice that the glow ring from Bubble Buddies was in the freezer in the first episode?
Yes.
I didn't.
Yeah, in that shot where all the cookie cats are... I didn't notice until I saw Cookie Cat again. When he like reaches in to get the cookie cats, that ring is in the freezer he later gives back to Connie in Bubble Buddies.
I saw it because I was like, I used to put that shit in the freezer when I was a kid too, because they always said it would last longer. Didn't. I just thought that was like a nice attention to detail, and then it appeared again, and I was like, oh. And I love Connie's design. Like, she has such a nice design, and I like her voice. And I love her in Lion 2, the movie. Like, with the awesome tennis moves and like saving the day.
She's great in Lion 2 is another one that's up there for me for best. Lion 2 is so great.
And like, I just love that scene where they're riding on the lion, like skipping over the water, and the birds are flying, and the music is happy, and they're smiling. It's like the feeling you get when you're on a kid and you're on an adventure. Like, you're just so warm. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, even though I've never actually ridden a lion that could walk on water, like, I could feel that happiness, that imagination, and that playfulness right in the heart gut.
Yeah, right in the heart gut. Right in the heartburn.
Yeah. And also, I feel like Rose's room deserves to be mentioned for, again, like, the show brushing up with some pretty strong horror concepts. Like that episode was really, at times hard to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crappy and spoopy.
Like, I wanted some explanations, though, because I did feel for Steven. He's like, I don't have my own place, and it's like, you think it's his mother's room. He doesn't know anything about his mom. He said so in Lars and the Cool Kids, and he's like, you don't know anything about my mom. I don't even know anything about my mom. And, like, I feel like it's not fair to him.
That was a really powerful line. I liked that line a lot.
Yeah. Like, it must have been really weird for this kid to, like, not have a mom, and then his dad's kind of a deadbeat that he doesn't live with. And then he lives with these 3 magical people who he doesn't always get to see because they're always off saving the world. But he's still so happy.
I feel sad now.
No. I love you, Steven.
Steven, no.
Steven.
Is Boom making Steven Universe comics?
Yeah, there was a preview in the...
The free comic book day thing?
No, it was in the Adventure Time Halloween annual. They had like a little Steven Universe comic at the end.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
You have any idea who's... Let me see if I can find out who's going to make those.
And then, of course, Laser Light Cannon is still such a good episode. Like...
Oh yeah, it's a very solid episode.
It really sold me, like, because a lot of people, like, weren't sure about, like, Gem Glow with Cookie Cat or whatever.
Yeah, that was when it really hit its stride, with the fucking Garnet just throwing Amethyst.
This to the moon, a thing. Oh, it was great.
And they kept trying it. It was just so good. I love Amethyst.
Yeah, there's a lot of great physical humor with Amethyst.
Like,
If every pork chop were perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs. That's like the whole theme of the show. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, actually, it really is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great. And, like, that's probably something, like, Rebecca heard, like, growing up. Like, some stupid dad joke thing.
Yeah.
It's so great.
So great.
Also, like, every single time I talk about the show or watch an episode, I can't decide what my favorite gem is. It's probably Pearl, but I can't not... Like, I love them all so fucking much.
So
if the
hard.
other ones didn't exist, that one would be my favorite.
Yeah, like, they're all such great characters. Like, I mean, I love Pearl, but Garnet is so badass. And Amethyst is so funny.
Amethyst is amazing.
Yeah.
like, wah, wah, and just slapping the butt.
Womp, womp.
Like,
Womp womp.
it's so funny. And then she turns into the dog copter and it's just like, woo!
Beep beep, which way to the baby war?
Oh, God.
And when
Baby war.
when Garnet throws Amethyst as the volleyball into the ground, just the explosion of glass.
Oh my god, I just had the best idea. I'm gonna get that baby war gif and use it to reply to any one of those giant shitty Tumblr argument threads I see.
Yes.
Because like
Fandom
those
drama.
kinds where you read them, and as you're reading them, like everybody's opinions start to blur, and you can't tell which side anybody's even arguing for anymore. And it's like, this is all stupid. I can't
And your
stand this
face
fucking
just
website.
melts, and it's like, this isn't even important.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys go volunteer at the soup kitchen or
Beep
something?
beep, which way to the baby war?
Trying to look it up. From what I can tell, I mean the preview comic was written by Sugar and drawn and penciled by Lamar Abrams. I don't know if she's gonna write the rest of them.
Yeah,
She
it's not
should-
like a Natasha Allegri who is going to be co-writing all the Bean Puppy Cat
And
comics
drawing them.
and drawing them. That lady is so busy.
Yeah.
She must just have nothing else to do but
It's
draw
her
and
job,
watch
like, this
and
is
draw
her-
and watch anime.
She's writing and creating a show.
But doing so much more too on top of that. Like, I love her.
Yeah.
We'll talk
think-
about
Yeah.
her.
All right.
Yeah,
Later.
I think Rebecca Sugar should team up on some kind of project. It doesn't matter what it is, but she should collab with somebody whose last name is Spice.
And
on that note,
I guess she'll collaborate with what, Victoria Beckham?
Spice.
wow, what a note to go
I
out
know,
on.
I know.
Okay, we have to talk about something else, so that's not the last thing.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, has the show been picked up for a second season?
I would assume so.
I would assume so, but also keep in mind that,
Adventure,
girls
like,
really like it, and Cartoon Network has...
That's very pink.
that's like Warner Brothers and DC.
And
Cartoon
there's
Network's
no
usually good about not
merchandising.
canceling shit.
Actually, I haven't seen any merchandising
Yeah,
stuff.
see, Cartoon Network doesn't fuck up all the time. They've done a lot of good stuff recently. They've taken a lot of risks on...
Yeah, it was renewed in November.
It was... Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the show has a lot of legs on it.
Oh, yeah.
But,
it can...
but also, like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna say, Cartoon Network's never really been good about like merchandising unless something is like super big, like it'll super sell, like Adventure Time, and the only other one they've really merchandised since before that is like Ben 10.
But you'd think after Adventure Time they would like know how to do it now.
Yeah, like we start seeing a lot of this stuff in Hot Topic
Like
already.
yeah.
Well, I mean, like I guess
We
it's
Love
been, like,
Fine
toys
would
and
get
stuff.
up on that. And
Haven't they already?
Yeah,
Have
yeah,
not?
they have.
Okay, yeah.
I think they have. Oh, wait, maybe I'm thinking of Bee and Puppycat. If they're
No,
not,
they
if they
haven't.
haven't yet, they're gonna. I know.
Did
for
you
a
see
fact.
that new Bee and Puppycat shirt? It's
The
just
one where it's just a doodle that
And
Natasha
girl.
the sassy walk and and it says "girl."
made. And the only reason they made it was because Natasha was like, "Now put this on a shirt," and they were like, "Yeah, we'll do it."
You follow Natasha on Twitter? It's mostly her flipping off groceries.
she's so weird.
I love her so much, and like her and Penn Ward are just constantly getting in the stupidest Twitter conversations. They're both so weird. I love them.
Rebecca's a lot more normal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
In interviews, like she seems like a regular person, like pretty put together,
Like,
very
if you-
smart.
Yeah, but when you interview Penn or Natasha, they're just like,
They're always
I don't know,
on.
I don't know. I like John fun stuff, and it's fun, so
Yeah.
I do it. Please
Penn is
stop asking
definitely
me
always
questions.
on.
Yeah.
Him and like Thurup Van Orman, the guy who made and
Yeah.
voiced Flapjack, just
Yeah.
this big burly guy with a tiny little voice. And apparently one of his hobbies, like going around Cartoon Network Studios, was just straight up wrestling people in the halls.
Yeah, it's just like it's some pretty no holds barred kid stuff going on there. I think.
I want to work there so bad.
Yeah. Oh, and also I feel like I want to point out that a cartoonist I really like, Lauren Zoukakis, who really just goes by Lauren Zook, is now working as a storyboard artist for Steven Universe, which I'm happy about from every
cool.
angle. Did I ever show you Rachel and Penny, Tooch?
That rings a bell. I don't recall it.
I told you to read it because it has lesbians in it.
Ah, I remember now.
That's
Yeah.
also why you should watch Utna, Tooch.
I know. That's why I'm surprised I haven't.
It's pretty revolutionary. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
no, it really is a very important show for the industry.
Yeah, I want to watch it with me and Nicky. I don't know if you know who she's. Katie, in collab. Nia.
She was at MagFest. She was at BitGen.
Right,
She was the one who was in costume.
right.
But anyway, like she was talking about a couple weeks ago how she watched Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant when she was like 7,
Oh wow, that's gonna change you.
and I think it was the movie she watched.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and she doesn't remember. She doesn't remember anything about it because it made no sense to her as a kid. But she wants to rewatch it because she remembers it being weird.
Lesbian cars.
Yep.
They literally turn
Cool.
into cars.
Is this a better note to end on, Nikki? Is it really? Lesbian
Yes,
cars?
obviously.
So where can our dear listeners tune into Steven Universe?
It's Cartoon Network. They've been janking around the schedule a bunch recently.
Yeah.
Like
At
they've
least they're
moved
not as bad
Adventure
as
Time
Nickelodeon.
twice in the last month, but Adventure Time can survive it.
Last
think
time I
it's
checked, it
Thursdays.
was Wednesdays.
I think it might be moving to Thursdays on. No, it's not. That was Clarence.
Yeah, Steven is still on Wednesdays.
Probably at 7 on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
And if you want to watch the
The pilot was originally uploaded online, and then it was taken down
like
for some
almost
reason.
a day later, you can find it pretty easily
But
if you
you can
search for
find
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely worth watching.
Yeah.
It's still good.
Absolutely.
Of just Steven breaking Lars' balls.
Just everyone breaking Lars' balls.
Yes.
In a way that's nicer than we're making it sound, because again, it's a nice show. It's a nice time show.
It is. It's a very feel-good, like, watch with your kids, watch by yourself with no guilt. Like,
Yeah.
just watch it.
Yeah.
Find an excuse to watch it if you haven't been watching it, because
Yeah.
it's really worth your
We
time.
we couldn't recommend it more.
Yeah.
It's one of the most necessary things to watch on television right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Don't, you can wait to see a woman fist another woman in Game of Thrones. Why don't you watch something that's like,
That doesn't have any
that doesn't have any weird rapey undertones, just like
tones.
tones. Just something
Well, I don't
sweet.
know. The newest Adventure Time.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Did you guys finally watch that?
Yeah,
Yes,
we watched
I
it
did.
today, like, was that an allegory for Finn battling sex addiction?
I think it's just an allegory for like guys feeling like, well,
like
I guess being with a bunch of ladies will make me feel better.
Yeah, it's a commodification of women
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like, I don't know. That show gets away with so much.
Yeah. Tumblr's just gonna love it.
I didn't honestly, I didn't flip out as much as Tumblr did. My only thing was I sort of ended the episode going like, did he just fuck Lumpy Space Princess?
Yeah, that was like, and Lumpy Space Princess is like, we're gonna go all the way to the deep end, and I was like, okay.
And then he like, they didn't even make a joke out of it. It was just like the next morning, and neither of them said anything.
And
I
they
was
were
like,
in
that
bed,
just
and I was
happened.
like, well, not
They
in the
weren't, like,
same bed, but
Yeah, they weren't though. Like she was sleeping on the longest, so like,
But, like, he kind of pulled up his sleeping bag like he was uncomfortable and vulnerable.
yeah, that was. Ooh.
We're probably going to talk about every week's Adventure Time at the end of each episode.
That might be how that's our segment,
that's our sign off.
our sign-off segment.
That walk cycle of Finn with his, like, ass above his head, though, was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
That's gonna be used for like, for reactions.
Yeah.
In Tumblr, like my current emotion.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
Man.
what craziness!
Yeah, so.
Cartoons, man.
That's what
They're
this
not just for
podcast
kids
is about.
anymore.
That's what it's all about.
All right, so next episode, we're going to do Clarence, you think?
Clarence.
I thought we were gonna do Scooby Doo.
We're going to do either Clarence or Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. You know, Clarence, there's like 6 do of it so far. Probably even less.
Yeah, you can catch up with that one real quick.
And
Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated is 52.
it's 52 episodes. It's all on Netflix. We might do Clarence first, because Tooch still needs to finish it.
Yeah. I'm holding off on it. I'm edging.
Yeah.
Because it's that good. I
It's
just
so
need to,
you
just need
have
let
to
it
like
linger.
the last scene. You will just be at the edge of your seat, jaw dropped, pulling out your hair, like.
I decided that we were going to do this podcast because I wanted to talk to Tooch about Mystery
Scooby-Doo.
Incorporated.
Okay, yeah. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Like, it'll probably end up being Clarence, though, because I can never find the time to watch shit anymore.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it'll
probably
probably-
Clarence,
Yeah.
which ties into Steven. They premiere around the same time,
Yeah.
so look forward to that, everybody.
All right. So this has been the inaugural. This has been the inaugural. The inaugural episode of the Toon Goons. Before I actually end up editing this and putting it up, you know, we'll have a Tumblr. We have a Tumblr page. It's thetoongoons@tumblr.com.
And how can they contact us, Nicky?
I'm going to make an email that is
Going to be called.
thetoongoons@gmail.com.
Yes, we will provide you a
And
link.
if
Please give us
if
all
that's
your
taken, I will edit something in.
give us your questions and comments, and we'll talk
Questions,
about them on the show if they aren't
comments,
garbage.
critiques.
I'll probably also make an @the_Toon_Goons on Twitter.
Please let us know what you think we should add, if there's any segments that we should be weary of,
If
or
there's any of the hosts that you think we should kick off.
if there's any shows that we absolutely need to talk about.
Oh,
Was
yeah,
that-
yeah. We're
was
not
that a
limiting
threat?
ourselves to stuff that's on TV. We're not limiting ourselves to stuff that's for kids, and we're not limiting ourselves to stuff that's Western animation as opposed to anime. But we are focusing on those 3 aspects.
Yeah.
But like, we'll talk about anime. We'll talk about older shows. We're talking about Scooby Doo. That's been off the air for a couple of years.
Yeah.
We'll occasionally talk about movies.
Yeah. We'll do some news stuff if anything comes up. I mean, the only news this week was like Lauren Faust.
Oh yeah, Lauren
Directing-
Faust is doing some
Medusa with Sony
Yeah,
Pictures.
we'll talk about that more when there's actually more news on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, until next time, I'm Tooch.
I'm Nina.
And I'm Nicky. Thank
And-
you for tuning in.
And then if this were visual, we would iris out.